Peace. Think fast. Just want to share. Matter of fact, yesterday, that 11:11 portal, kind of closing. Basically, but with it closing, kind of like giving us that little finishing touch, so to speak. And just kind of giving us that little nudge, like, all right, like, but basically we kind of was going through the energies, like integrating, upgrading the energies going through us. That could make us a little uneasy, a little, matter of fact, and we was going through a place of being like, what's next, But again, like that energy, opened up some portals, and again, kind of came to that commencement yesterday, and with that commencement also like the commencement of the like chaotic feeling and moving into like feeling the benefits of that portal opening in a more non-chaotic manner. But yesterday, just want to share with y'all, some little mathematics I came across, and I feel like something telling me like I'm like maybe it may warrant a Nobel Peace Prize, something like that. I don't know, but I just playing with numbers and realizing that like, cause I got my phone on military time and it was 22:44, and I'm like, something told me this may have some significance. So I'm like, let me see. And I broke the number down. It was 3. So I'm like, and I see 2244, and I'm like, all right, let me try some other numbers. So tried 5577. It came out with 6. But then, like, that's the reason why I circled this one later, because I didn't do it straight up. I'm like, well, let me just try, some in between. So I tried 1133, and then 111333. But then they came out to be some different stuff. So I'm like, nah, that ain't no pattern. But then I did 8, 8, 10, 10. I'm like, So then I noticed that, the numbers outside of 9, 3, and 6, when brought together, especially in this pattern like this, they're actually gonna always come out to either 3, 6, or 9, always. And I ain't even go deep. Cause matter of fact, I also realized too why somebody invented exponents, because it's like you want to test this out with 1,000 5s and 1,000 4s. You wouldn't want to sit there and be writing 1,000 4s and 1,000 5s. You'll take most of your day before you even do the problem. You know what I'm saying? So I caught that little vibe. But then again, so come with it when the numbers are tripled. All of them equal to 9 when they all tripled. Now when they all singled, it goes different. You got 6, 3, 9. Matter of fact, I hope I'm again, and try them, with putting them together in 4s. Same thing. You get 6, 3, and 9. And again, when Nikola Tesla speak on the importance of 369 in our universe, and 9 also being like that number that goes back into itself. 9 times any number is gonna always reduce back into 9. So 9 just has that energy. But again, just sharing this little realization. It might be some little math that somebody could expand on or use. Might be a little aha moment for some mathematician out there. Might help to finish off the equation. But again, just me sharing some little notes. That's why I think fast. And again, but just realizing the significance of this universe, deals with numbers, Like the Matrix was pretty accurate with always showing like numbers falling, the little green numbers falling in the space, because there was personification of us being in this, matrix, like a bunch of just numbers decoded, falling numbers. But let's see, we're gonna step into this tarot card round for a second. So basically, share my story, Matter of fact, my first tarot card pack, I caught the urge strongly recently to to go and get the pack. And I'm gonna just kind of, again, I didn't go in depth, too in depth with my research. Just enough to kind of just share, just the information up front. Of course, it's 78 cards in the deck. What it is, let's say 22 of the Arcana Major cards, and then you have the minor cards, which is I want to say 56. Yep, 56. Because 56 plus 22 equals the 78 cards, fully. Matter of fact, 78 reduces into 6, just to have that number. But tarot cards, is a way of, another divination form. Divination, like whether you're doing I Ching, fortune telling, or you're doing, tea readings, or astrology, doing people's charts, but we have these different types of divination, so to speak, at tapping into the unseen realms, and somewhat, quote unquote, tapping into future information, or information that's just not right at our fingertips in that moment. Divination processes help for us to connect with that, that energy or that information, so to speak. But so just kind of gonna run my story too, because it's partly a story, also how things happen with me. Basically the process of me buying it and opening it went into indirectly, giving a reading to a certain extent. But in which, again, I haven't got into all the different methods and all that, so I'm not, again, this video is not about trying to like, this is how you use tarot cards. It's sharing the fact that I just got my first deck, and just, again, a few little notes of information, and then, again, just my own experience. And also kind of want to touch on, like, the vibe of breaking down the alchemical pictures, because that's another reason why I made sure I got it, because I'm starting to do consultations, and I wanted to find more of a divination system to kind of work with while I do it, as well. And I figured the tarot cards, another thing with the tarot cards, they have alchemical messages within the within the cards, like, and it's certain things, like paying attention to the pentagram or the cup, and it's little sword, hand gestures, as above, so below, above with the light, so below, and the infinity, and being connected to that infinite knowing, with the snake, around the waist, what I'm saying, that serpent, that kundalini energy, but like everything has, its symbol down to the colors, but that was some information I came across about, like, how good the tarot cards are for just and again, alchemical pictures in general. Alchemical pictures meaning pictures with hidden meanings, in essence. But it helps because, again, the subconscious speaks language of symbols. So, even though, say for instance, when we look at this picture, it's like, oh, this is the magician. But our subconscious sees past just words, because our subconscious and our soul consciousness existed way before words existed, So therefore, the strongest way of communication with the subconscious is through symbols. That's why Hollywood do what they do. It's the symbology of what's going on in the movie. They might be saying all kind of other things, but it's the gestures and the symbols of what's going on in the movie that's really, like the black guy always having to die in the movie. In the movie, they're not saying we hate black people, so that's why the black guy got to die in the movie. You know what I'm saying? It's more so, again, subtle messages, like just every situation, Again, the subconscious, they program all the melanated people out there, like, to just be in situations where, man, it's always gonna be me that's gonna die for, again, to put you in a mind frame like that, so you could create situations, because, again, our subconscious creates our physical experience. So if you scared, I feel like, bro, I'm the black pearl, I'm always gonna die, or always get into something, and that actually manifests into your physical, you know, as far fetched as it may seem. Again, it's the reality of the situation. Again, you know, so it's just symbols, like it's the symbology of, looking at the cup, and the cup must mean, being able to hold water, a cup personifies being able to hold the feminine energy, you know what I'm saying? So being in control of the feminine energy, like again, that all the little different breakdowns, and two, which I'm brief into a little bit too, like just knowing the different little vibes of different symbols. Now, just right quick, the rider-waite pack, this is known as the original, tarot deck, because the brethren, Arthur Edward Waite, and then Pamela Coleman Smith, who the names are on the deck. And I don't own the copyrights to this tarot deck, or just sharing this the information about it. But I just kind of got like a somewhat, like how can I say, light vibe of the beginning story, but it started as like playing cards. As a matter of fact, the once in France and then ended up being in Italy, but there were certain types of playing cards, that were being used, and then at a certain point in time, this brethren, Arthur Edward Waite, which he was a part of the Golden Dawn. You know what I'm saying? The Golden Dawn is one of the, Aleister Crowley, like, one of the, which the Golden Dawn, I can't remember. They're not no straight up Freemasonry lodge, but basically like, a cult group. The politically correct name for it right now is not coming up, but the OTO, Golden Dawn, Aleister Crowley little clique, so to speak. But again, this deck, came from them, and both Pamela and Arthur are members of the Golden Dawn. And then later on down the line, you actually had Aleister Crowley come out with his tarot cards, the Thoth cards, Jehudi, and basically his deck came later on, and then kind of after that, then it was just kind of like, all right, like everybody has their own different little versions. Because matter of fact, in spirit, I wanted this. They had a voodoo deck, matter of fact, a New Orleans voodoo deck by Sally Ann Glassman. If y'all familiar with any of my old videos speaking on voodoo or dealing with altar work, and I referenced that book, Voodoo Visions by Sally Ann Glassman. In fact, if you haven't checked it out or haven't heard of it, definitely a great book. Like if you want to take that step into doing altar work and dealing with the energies of the Vodun, that book is a great book. It is, yeah, Sally Ann Glassman, Voodoo Visions. But I was gonna get that deck, but then and again, you realize again the integration of higher self, lower self / masculine, feminine. As far as like logic and intuition. It was like I wanted, like parts of me wanted that deck of the voodoo deck, but I knew like the other half of me was like, but you could always come back and get that. Just because, say for instance, what vibe came over me was like, it may not say confuse me, because I'm I could pick up on stuff, but like you want to see the original blueprint, like you want to see, because like, and as another download I caught, like, brethren, you gonna talking to myself, you gonna manifest abundance again, so just get a deck to just start off with, what I'm saying. And again, I was like, well, what better to go with than the blueprint of what everybody else goes off of, what I'm saying. So it's like, why not get the rider-waite pack? As a matter of fact, it's called the rider-waite. As a matter of fact, yeah, rider-waite tarot pack. But why not go with, again, get that. So when I see the blueprint, then I know for sure when I'm coming across these other cards, well, hey, it might be missing this sign, or it has some extra stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll be able to know from that perspective, dealing with the original first and foremost. Now, one of the things with dealing with this, the tarot cards too, especially if you want to tap into doing divination with it, is intention. I treated this pack like my pendulum. So I did a meditation where I kept it in the middle of my hand. I envisioned a light, in fact, coming from my psychic center, you know, like in that frontal part of the forehead right here. Matter of fact, the book Cyclomancy speak on it, which I still got to go more in depth in that book. Matter of fact, I'm sending out that book and I haven't read it all. Matter of fact, definitely if y'all interested, just DM me on my Instagram. My Instagram is under the details, but Cyclomancy speaks of that energy of where our psychic energy moves from a little place in our frontal lobe. But I envision that energy moving from that area and going through the shoulders and coming through both hands. And oh, look, my little eye looking at y'all. Coming through both. That's funny too, because it should be like this, but it's like, I got my eye on y'all. But and I envision, the energy, going into it, cleansing it, and also, one of the affirmations with dealing with any divination tool, you want to, put out the intention that only divine knowledge of source should pass through, these cards or this pendulum, but with this case, these cards, like only divine knowledge of source, like, not any biased information, like, no outside influences will influence the information that comes forth from these cards. Like, again, just word it however you want, but you just want to make sure you kind of putting that intent that divine knowledge of source moves through these cards. I want these cards to be, again, giving the true answers and not the answers that anybody biasly want to hear. And again, like, be in connection with source, in the highest truthful manner. Another thing I did, I set some crystals on top of my card deck. I set like most of my intuitive crystals, so like lapis lazuli, labradorite, my super 7, quartz, because I don't know the name. I don't know if that's a blue calcite or not. But I had a blue crystal. Matter of fact, a throat chakra, crystals, because, in a lot of cases, we dealing with communication, with higher self, with source, you know what I'm saying? When we dealing with any divination, same thing with our pendulum, like, that's source communicating, like giving us a yes or a no, or, however you deal with your pendulum. And I do have videos about pendulum. Again, at this point, I tag most of my videos, so if you just look up universal frequencies and pendulums, you should come across that video. But put my crystals on them, saged it, or should I say, cleansed it with some Palo Santo, but you could sage it as well. Again, speak your intention into them. And then, so on the flip side, so on this other vibe, I realized, so I was opening my car, so I did all my little, cleansing and stuff like that. Now this is me writing, because matter of fact, I also feel like this is gonna be part of a book. Spoiler alert. But like as soon as I opened the cards, I thought, let me indirectly, but really directly, do a reading for myself. So when opening the cards, I'm like, all right, when I open them, I'm not gonna take them out of order, because I do want to see the order they in, and again, I think it starts with the 22 major arcana, then the other 56, and one deals with like higher connection to knowledge, like more of soulful knowledge, and the other one, like the other cards, I think is the 56 deal with more of like the mundane aspects of your day to day, type of life on that level. But again, I'm like, let me do my own reading. So what I said, I'm like, I'm gonna open them, and I'm gonna, pull a card. But I'm like, wait, I don't want to take them out of order. So I'm like, I'm gonna open it in a manner where I kind of just find a little place to open and just look at a card in the middle. So I open it. Now, first off, though, I had to acknowledge that, just first and foremost, but that's why I was on the front of the pack. The first card is the Magician, hence the number 1 as well. So, so that was technically the first, thing you see, because even before opening the pack, you see it. But I kept that in mind, the energy. And I'm like, all right, I saw that card first, of course. Then the second one I saw, so basically, when I opened it, I got the Knight of Pentacles. And again, I'm speaking on this just showing, again, I'm not actually doing the reading as much. I'm just showing how, example of how you can, again, do your own reading in essence. So, just through opening your pack, And again, I haven't learned on a formal, technical, like book, reading a book and all this on how to, deal with it. But I just know the fact that, it, again, intuition, it don't take rocket science. Like I could just shuffle them cards and just ask somebody a question and then just flip and pull a card like, oh, this card deals with this or that. Like you must be, lying to somebody about something because this card deals with deception. You know what I'm saying? Like that's kind of like the basis of what you're doing with them. So, and basically, as I was putting them back on the table, though, like, so I opened them and saw the Knight of Pentacles, and as I was putting them on the back on the table, a few of them fell, but it was only the ones on the top, and a few fell upside down. And then after that, though, I realized, too, I came across some information where there's like when the card is upside down, that also symbolized that the reverse of the energy. So whatever energy that card deals with, it will kind of be like in the reverse or kind of like in an opposing manner. But again, like a few of them fell upside down. So in that moment, I'm like, all right, again, I'm going to take this time to do my own reading. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to take note of which one it was 2 cards basically. Oh, and another thing too, when those few cards fell at the top, it was showing the Empress. You know what I'm saying? So basically the 1 and 2 card that fell, and the Joker. The matter of fact, wait, was it the Joker? No, it was a 0. Cause the Joker is the 0 card, but it was the High Priestess and the Magician card that fell. But I picked each one of them up. Like, all right, pick one up first, and that happened to be the High Priestess, and I pick up the other one, which happened to be the Magician. But also keeping in mind, like, all right, I pick up this one first, and I pick up that one second. To have awareness of, like, because again, even down to within the cards, again, it's all about numbers. When we think about chronological order, chronological order is so say for instance, in this moment, I speaking to myself because it's kind of like a little journal vibe. In this moment, realizing the chronological order in which I picked these 2 cards up will have significance to the reader, and this is very key, right here. But because again, chronological order, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, dealing with numbers. The universe deals with numbers, so again, it would have some type of significance because the numbers have a significance in this matrix. And again, the universe speaks in numbers, and the order, the order chronologically in which something comes deals with numbers. Just like first, fifth, or 87, and I kind of use that as example, like of my date of birth. And again, this is why gematria, is gematria is so important. Gematria, I got videos on gematria. Gematria is basically like not necessarily the geometry of words, but to a certain extent, like how certain letters have a certain number value. Because another thing with these cards is they correlated to Hebrew letters, they correlated to zodiac signs, you know, even could connect to like chakras, like all different type of vibes could come out of connect again alchemical messages, but just with a picture, and also the terminology of a picture worth 1,000 words. That's kind of dealing with the alchemical pictures in essence. And again, so that certain zodiac signs are associated with number, and that's another thing too, how you got numbers. So when we looking at alchemical pictures in general, certain zodiac signs associated with numbers, like again, like Aries dealing with one, and then you got your first house in the zodiac sign, you know what I'm saying? Like all these different connections. Matter of fact, dealing with these cards, I want to say like the numbers at the top deal with the certain month that so let's see, what's the fourth month? January, February, March, April, the ram, the fourth month, fourth card, little rams on there. Again, alchemical messages. He wearing the red, sitting on a little throne, got the mountains behind him, got the Ankh in one hand representing eternal life, and paying attention to every little aspect. How many little, he got 2 red dots, he got 3 white ones in his hat. It's a 2 to 3 ratio. Could be personifying number 23. Again, this is all different ways, and there's no necessarily right or wrong way to, tap into this. It's following your intuition, but also having some kind of knowledge of like certain significant numbers. Because we know, like, say, for we're breaking down the Bible. If I hear the Bible speak about 7 women walk to the store to go, and I'm like, all right, them 7 women must be the 7 chakras or the 7 planets. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, knowing all the other information and it parallels. Because even I think about the Hebrew letters also being tied to different animals and other energies as well. Because I think about Aleph. I think Aleph is connected with the ox. But again, all these different symbols. Just breaking it down from looking at. Matter of fact, open up a little. See which other ones I can find. So let's see. The 5th, which kind of, when you think about the little Taurus sign, with the little horn. And it's almost kind of like the Taurus sign, but 5, Taurus in that 5th month of May. So you see, like, again, the little correlation. Again, it's not necessarily no bullheads, but you see these little correlations. What's it after that? 6. Let's see. Gemini. The twins. And of course, not actual twins, as it's kind of personifying Adam and Eve with the tree of life and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. But also could be a representation of Jachin and Boaz, which the next one definitely kind of goes into that. But again, the Gemini energy. Let's see. Which I always forget. Let's see. What's after Gemini's Cancer? Matter of fact, I'm going to just skip. Because again, just going on the fly with this. But let's see. 5, 6. The 8th month, August. Those Leos. And matter of fact, because the number card, the 22 number cards, those are the arcana major, the major arcana cards, but also the minors, the 56, also have cards that correlate. So they got a card that correlate with Leo for the minor cards as well. But again, that month, 8-month, August, the Leos. So you see the correlation. And again, some of them I'm not seeing on the fly good enough to actually show you, so that's why some of them I'm kind of skipping over. Hey, let's see. After trying to old justice, so let's see. After the 8-month, we got going to Virgo, and then Libra. All right, yep. Again, just to again brief shortly on that. I don't want to go too in depth. But again, it's all these different aspects. Now, again, to speak on just alchemical pictures in general, and I always point out to the picture of Caesar Borgia. Caesar Borgia pointing to his heart and up. Matter of fact, AKA Caesar Borgia, some people might think, or call that Jesus. But the Caesar Borgia picture with a brethren pointing to his heart and then pointing up, the way up is through the heart, through the heart chakra is the way to those high realms, So you see, again, just simple, and in a paradox type of manner, the more simpler the picture, the more meaning it could have, like even down to a simple dot where it could represent that first point of consciousness of source. It could represent the primordial darkness of the mother, you know what I'm saying? Like, which that is kind of like that first dot of source, but one small thing could bear so many levels of information. And again, hence, a picture is worth 1,000 words, And knowing the significance of numbers, again, like, it is 7 chakras. So if you look at one of these things and you see, like, them holding 7 things, or, again, let's just say with the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like they got like 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, that seems like planets are chakras, but since it's not in a line, we could probably say planets orbiting around this feminine energy, the center of the galaxy. In essence, this could be pointing out, in between the pillars, Boaz and Jachin and Boaz, that dark, quote unquote, negative feminine energy. That's why Eve was seen as the one that got him thrown out, like, or being negative. Also, it was a personification of Eve going with the flow, intuition, not that masculine, logical mind like Adam. Like, well, hold on, like Eve, like, man, just go with the flow, quit being a tight ass. But again, personification of energies. It's not no real fucking Adam and Eve. That's one of the most blasphemous stories, probably out of all of them. Like, 2 people make everybody in the world, and those 2 people depicted as, European, and I've yet to see a European that could make a melanated person. So it's just atrocities all through that. And then again, Adam and Eve, they gotta have children. All they had was Cain and Abel. Who had the children that Cain and Abel married? All of a sudden, some people popped up. Well, people popping up like that, then why sources just don't sprinkle people just whenever, instead of having a situation for people to be born, you just pop people up like, I forgot, Cain and Abel needed some people to have sex with. So like, we see that again, that insanity with some of these little stories. But again, knowing the different numbers, 7 chakras, 12 planets, the 5 senses are 5 elements. So, if you see something with 5 and you see 5 things on fire, it must mean like the burning of the senses or the purging of our 5 senses or the purging of the element. You know what I'm saying? Like, 4, we're going to deal with seasons or cardinal directions, uh, again, colors and their association with certain things, again, like with certain people wearing certain things, red, root chakra, background yellow dealing with solar plexus in it, you know what I'm saying, like green dealing with, heart chakra or plants in nature, that's why like Starbucks or like a Whole Foods, their emblem is green to, have that nature, homey, welcoming heart chakra, feel good, love yourself, and we love you, type of vibe, just giving off through the symbol being green, like it's a fact. Like you don't have to like have knowledge like, oh, I don't believe that colors could work on me like that. Just like, oh, I don't believe in gravity, or like, or you could say like the fact that nobody is actually walking around like having to know the equation of gravity in order to be affected by it, like whether you believe in it or not. Same thing with the zodiac signs and astrology. Whether you believe in it or not, that moon gonna turn you into a lunatic. As much as you don't believe in astrology, you know what I'm saying? The statistics show full moon nights, how activity kind of raises. So, but you see something black and white. Matter of fact, again, like Jacqueline and Boaz, like this, and then also you got the what I saw with the what is it called? Oh, with the chariot card, we got like the little Sphinx, black and white Sphinx on both sides. Again, that duality. You think about the checkered flow of King Solomon's temple. Again, that's all. Matter of fact, Jacqueline and Boaz, Solomon's temple. You see these connections. Again, symbols, shapes, hand gestures, like, even with shapes and symbols, like something very curvy, that's pointing out feminine energy, or something like straight line, straightforward, straight line energy, that's masculine, pointing out some type of masculinity. Like, matter of fact, like the letter D within itself. Like, if I just told somebody, if I wrote the letter D on the board and told somebody to just break that down, it's like, well, you would be like, well, the D is part masculine and feminine because you got the straight line, which is, the masculine energy, and then you got half of a circle, which is almost like half of that feminine energy, so like half a line, and which a line could be as long, so not necessarily half a line, but, a line, part curve, so it's like a balance of balance of that energy within that, that letter, and again, the more simple the symbol, the deeper the meaning may be. Just like with parables or Zen stories or little short quotes and statements that, where people don't say much. I think about A Wrinkle in Time, where, the I don't know what's because I know she do all kind of movies. I don't know her name, but the Indian female who played one of the guys with Oprah, where she would, it was something dealing with her energy, where the only way she could communicate was through little small quotes, because she didn't really know how to speak in the English language, so to speak, so it was like she would just give, again, like little small quotes, and like how these different little parables, like you have to have, I'm trying to think of one that's just like dry, that where, but these little statements and stuff where they don't say much, but it's really saying a lot, and it could be interpreted in so many different, manners and ways, That's why too, another thing that points to wisdom is somebody that doesn't, talk a lot, or always trying to. It's like it's not about saying a lot. It's just about the quality of message. Sometimes you could say a little and say a lot, and not necessarily have to put a bunch of words together to actually say a lot, or say something with meaning, with more meaning but less words. And again, symbols are a universal language that existed before words, the language of our soul subconscious. So again, that's another thing that intrigued me about the. Matter of fact, let me do some on the fly just to see if we could just kind of guess at what this dealing with and stuff like that. But like that's what made me want to deal with the cards, because I'm like, if it's gonna help also deal with programming my subconscious, and I'm all for that, as well. Again, the Temperance, 1 foot in the water. First thing I noticed, kind of like so, 1 foot on the ground, being grounded in the physical, but also that other foot in spirit, in that water, because the water, you even think about like past this firmament, which for the first time I think, NASA even stepping into that realm of trying to, like, oh, we think it's water outside of the firmament, or it's really water, outside of a firmament. Space is like water. That's what it's trying to say. Space is like water, you know. Then that primordial mother, that water, the deep depths of the subconscious mind and spirit, again, that. So it's like a connect. So this, already this personifies a connection, to, you could say, masculine and feminine, also to the water and earth element, half and half. Got the sun shining over the horizon, the horizon of Horus, energy, because in which though you can't tell whether it's rising or setting, so it could be like representing Horus and set, the sun. This could be considered like, how we pouring, like when the person, the bartender, pouring the drink in and out of one cup to mix the drink, you know what I'm saying? Like mixing some energies, balancing out energies, or integrating some energies, in which he dealing with the feminine aspect, because it's water, and those cups, again, like a cup could represent, containing water, controlling the feminine aspect, just like, a garden, like the personification of a garden, the symbol of a garden means to tame nature, so it's like a personification of taming, and I say not taming our lower nature, but just taming nature in general, like I think about, again, because nature though is God, and we not, not trying to tame God in that essence, want nature and source to, there's something infinite, how could you tame something infinite? And you got the little triangle, mind, body, and soul, also pointing up to the higher realms, those higher energies. But, again, just simple. Oh, Capricorn. Set. The devil, matter of fact, he got his little, the claw-like little feet. That lower nature, the animal, lower nature. The man and the woman, tied down to their lower nature of self. She got the fruits, like some grapes growing out of her tail, representing that fertility, because wine had a connection with that as well, or wine in a connection with the Virgo energy, that virgin energy, but again, like being fruitful, feeling than being on fire. That flame, being about that action in essence. And then you got the little pentagram, which means bringing the bringing the higher energy within the body. You know, and that doesn't mean you're actually worshiping. Again, these are energies. You know, what's called the quote unquote devil is again a personification of that primordial. Matter of fact, you got the primordial mother energy, then you got that primordial, to a certain extent, masculine energy, which is Set. You know, because in essence, Set or Lucifer existed before the Christ energy, in essence. Because matter of fact, the Lucifer had to exist for the Christ to exist. Like something had to bring us down into physical for something to even save us from the physical. So, and that's why, again, Lucifer, that firstborn, that first child, that's why he had that type of jealousy. Like, that's why the story had him like, well, he jealous, of Jesus in essence, because it was about me first. But they both one in the same. But again, with Constantine, with the Nicaea councils and all these little editing of the Bible to taking out the book of Enoch and the Apocrypha, throws off all this information, purposely, of course. But again, just just going through a few little cards, but again, it's deeper messages in all the different cards. Matter of fact, this one probably the one connected in the 56. We talk about the 56 minor card. This one may be connected to that Leo energy. The lion with the wings. Matter of fact, the conducive, the serpent going up in the crown chakra with the lion. The Lion of Judah, Jehuti, later known as Thoth, or Hermes Trismegistus. Hermes triple times the greatness, Trismegistus. You see, you got the little OTO sign on this one right here. A little upside down. Somewhere the whole time they sign is like a little upside down dove and the cross. Water leaking out in 5 ways. It could be, again, a connection to the 5 senses or the 5 elements. And what's funny, upside down M, because M stands for Mama, Ma, Lemuria, my son, free my son, Freemason, free my son, free my son. Again, as a matter of fact, it could mean flying from higher nature, going down into lower nature, because the cross also represents, the Malkuth, the lower Sephiroth on the tree of life. But again, that crucifixion being in our physical form, being in the physical realm, so coming up from that higher place and coming into that, that physical. Matter of fact, and also 2 straight lines mean, 2 phalluses. A phallus and a phallus don't necessarily add to life, So it also has that aspect. And again, different numbers, colors, all that goes into these different depictions. That's basically it. Just again, tarot cards might be something for you. Me making this video might be the little thing that encourage y'all to get y'all first pack. I'm definitely excited. Matter of fact, there's no coincidence that I had that strong urge to do that yesterday. And again, with this also this new moon in Sagittarius, we talk about expansion and doing things different. It's like, all right, let me, hop into learning something new and different, because again, Sagittarius energy is about philosophizing as well. It's about philosophy. Sagittarius kind of, not biting the tongue, kind of, matter of fact, so be aware of that energy too, with the Sagittarius new moon coming, as far as like, Sagittarius energy is like speaking that truth with no lid, but like sometimes we could be a little rude with our truthfulness, or just kind of be like, and I say rude, but what, certain points is certain times just not meant for us to always just like pointing out like certain little things, But again, not to get that mistaken with like not trying to say that again, like telling the truth is all about being authentic, 100%. But again, like say for instance, I see somebody that's overweight. I just don't walk up to them and say you're overweight. It's like, yeah, that's the truth, but I didn't have to, again, so there's a certain level of like where you could take truth to a disrespectful place. But my brethren had this book. I ain't never read it, but matter of fact, it seemed like one of the most fire books probably by T. Susan Chang. That tarot book. Thumbed through that today. Again, showing all the different correlations of the cards, to different stones, elements. I don't know if y'all seen that good enough. Let's see. In fact, this is the tree of life by itself, but in fact, I'm trying to see if it's showing good on the screen. But all the different, again, from the elements, even get into the zodiac sign with degrees and dates. Again, showing all the different correlations. Again, that's why alchemical pictures could be so good, again, for us on a subconscious level. Matter of fact, I do not own the rights to this book. This book is, again, by T. Susan Chang. I'm just showing this book. But definitely something to, check out if you're feeling like that little calling and stepping you in. Like you want to step into something, different or new, Definitely maybe the vibe. But that's basically it. Matter of fact, I'm just making sure yeah, that's basically it. And again, matter of fact, it's some of my little, and because I think I will matter of fact, I'm not even right there. Yeah, that's basically it, y'all. Again, breaking down the alchemical pictures. All these different pictures have a story. Remember that. Matter of fact, again, that priestess, Jacqueline and Boaz. The Empress. Forgot what sign this stands for. Forgot the little heart. What is the? Let's see. What's the third month? March. So it might be that is Pisces energy, possibly. Not gonna quote for sure, but I do see. Matter of fact, got the little water in the background. Also got some little stars, so it'd probably be significant to count the stars on top of her head. Have some type of connection with that. And again, without even like just looking at them without being able to try to break it down into words. Just kind of just looking at it, without even trying to say nothing, you know, again, or trying to figure out anything per se, you know, just looking at kind of like with, say, for instance, like a Sri Yantra, you know, it's like, it's just about looking at it, you know. Of course, you could explore it and look at the different triangles in it and, you know, count how many and stuff to get in depth, but at the most part, just you looking at it is doing the work, you know. Same thing with sigil magic. And I got a video on sigil magic as well. Again, just go universal frequencies and sigil, SIGIL, and it should come up. That's basically it. That's all I have to say about that. I must have drunk about 15 Dr. Peppers. It's a wrap. Peace. Happy now. Now is the vibrate, of course. We're not going too far in the future. But not go too far in the past. But alright now. Now is the vibrate. The rate at which we're vibing. I say a peace to all.